Ref, linesman here coming towards us.
Side. Both teams in a huddle.
He's quite small, isn't he?
No, he's not the tallest. He's not in any hurry, is he, to get to the touchline? The two teams break from their huddles then, and Sunderland will be playing from right to left as we look down from the back of this main stand at Vale Park. The Sunderland fans, more than 3,000 of them, away to our right in the by-cars stand. And so it will be Ben Waine, who scored the winner against Bristol City on Tuesday night, who will get this FA Cup fifth round tie underway. The ball played back into the half of defence, Connor Hall, and played down the left of the Sunderland penalty area, where it rolls behind for a goal kick here. Trowder is right back, Luke O'Nien is left back, as we expected. Lefay has dropped back behind Diarra and Rigg.
There you go, Nick. There's the first sign. What's happened there? They don't play out from the back.
No,
the goalkeeper's kicking it. He's kicking it long.
Elborg from the left of his 6-yard line plays the ball through the middle. Is floated over Angulo's head. Liam Gordon let it drop behind him, the Guianan international. Picked up now just inside the Sunderland half by Funso Ojo, who's drafted into the side this afternoon. The Belgian, very experienced 34-year-old.
So you've just seen what Port Vale are trying to do straight away. Is get the ball in the channels for the likes of John Brown to run onto. And this is what they're going to rely on, because the lad, Brett Hall, is a big lad.
Yeah, centre-back, Connor Hall, 6'4". Corner from the left, below the big electronic board, which went attack. And the ball swung in here, bounces awkwardly, and Elborg, well, he falls down to his left. It was bobbling in front of him, the ball, but he's got his body behind it. I think it would have bobbled past the post. But you can see how the pitch is not running smooth. He's rolled the ball to Ballard, the right corner of the penalty area, into the second minute then. Port Vale 0, Sunderland 0, this fifth round FA Cup tie. Ballard bringing the ball out for Sunderland. O'Nien, his left arm raised, but Ballard pauses and then rolls it to his left to Alderete, and Alderete plays a long ball forwards down the left, looking for Talby on the left, Angulo on the right this afternoon. And it comes back to Elborg, who kicks to the halfway line. Ojo heads it on again. Ballard just wallops it back up into the Port Vale half. Kyle John, 25-year-old former Evertonian, played the ball forwards. The ball nearly fell to Archer's feet as he closed down Elborg, but he kicked clear, and then a foul on Lefay.
He's done well there. Elborg, bobbling ball again.
Ethan Archer sprinting forwards to put pressure on Elborg. Archer, who's on loan, the 23-year-old from Luton Town. Alderete here, urging O'Nien to push on down the left-hand side. He gets to the halfway line, pushes it through to Talby, but he's tackled. The ball breaks for Rhys Walters, comes back then into defence, and getting back to defend is Cameron Humphreys. It's a corner to Sunderland. First Sunderland corner of the game in the 4th minute. Enzo Lefay's jogging down to take this. So an early opportunity from a set piece for Sunderland now, in front of the Hamel Road stand. Lefay steps back a few yards. It's a big pitch here. There's quite a lot of space between the touchlines and the corners. The ball floated in towards Mayenda, and it's just cleared away at the post. Somehow it was scooped away behind for another corner to Sunderland from Mayenda's header. Yeah,
you've got to say the goalkeeper was all over the place. You'd expect Mayenda to score there. He didn't get enough power behind his header.
There was a real scramble. It's been turned behind, and Lefay has a second corner in quick succession. Referees having a word with Alderete and Diarra. Also one of the Port Vale players
You're trying to look at screens and there is none.
We haven't got any replays here. We're bereft of replays. Lefay still waiting, paused to take this corner on the left-hand side. Referee, his arm outstretched, telling Lefay to pause for a moment. He's gone back in again. He's still talking to them. Now he's blown. Lefay with this corner from the left-hand side again for Sunderland. And with his right, whips it in low, it bounces through the penalty area, comes out to O'Nien at the right corner, puts it back in. Well, Ballard went down, but he's got himself up quickly. He's not appealing for any foul. And the ball comes out here on the right wing now, and Ethan Archer is trying to keep it in. It finally goes out for a Port Vale throw, under pressure from Lefay, Rigg and Talby. And Kyle John comes forwards to take this throw for Port Vale. Hurls it down the touchline. O'Nien heads it away from Dejon Brown. It comes back down to Alderete. Hooks it away from Ben Waine, who's on his shoulder, the New Zealander who scored in the week, the Newcastle United fan. Back into Cameron Humphreys on the halfway line on the right-hand side. Floats it up towards Ben Waine. Foul, though, on Luke O'Nien. Ben Waine comes across to the assistant. As you say, he's quite small, the assistant. Ben Waine sort of looking down at him and pleading his case. But it's a free kick to Sunderland. Tapped to Lefay by Alderete. Lefay bringing this up now to the halfway line. Out to O'Nien on the left and back to Alderete. Alderete almost in the centre of the Sunderland half in the 7th minute. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Talby on the left in front of Regis Lebris, plays it back to Alderete, into the middle to Diarra. Diarra just pausing for a moment, taps it back to Alderete. Looks up, looks for the run of Talby, but Kyle John heads the ball away. Out it comes to Jordan Lawrence Gabriel, a former Arsenal youth, played for Nottingham Forest as well, signed from Blackpool in the summer as Luke O'Nien. Thinks he's a rugby player and kicks it full length down the field and out behind for a goal kick.
Can he shift?
I'm half wondering if he meant that as a shot on target. It's way off, but just saw the goalkeeper off his line. I wonder if he just felt that that might swing in. So Joe Gauci, 25-year-old Australian, in goal for Port Vale, who's on loan from Aston Villa, season loan. Connor Hall puts the ball in the air and Gulo wins the header. Connor Hall tracks back in front of Mayenda, gets the ball back to Gauci, who plays it out here up towards the halfway line, and Ethan Archer looking to get it on to, Walters looking to try and get it on to Dejon Brown. Is playing up through the middle, but it's picked up by Hertrauder, put out on the far side for a throw to Sunderland. On halfway pretty much, 8th minute, 0-0. Hertrauder will take the throw for Sunderland to Lefay, back to Hertrauder, back again here to Dan Ballard. Ballard to Alderete. Alderete playing it on now to Talby on this left-hand side. Talby back to Alderete. And forwards down the left again to Luke O'Nien. Ben Waine on his shoulder. O'Nien's holding him off. Waine still putting pressure on O'Nien, who gets almost to the goal line and then plays it off the defender for a throw a few yards from the corner flag.
Good run by O'Nien there.
Knew exactly what he was doing, doesn't he? Yeah, I think he's gone to pick up another ball off a cone here, take a long throw, although Talby is down in the vicinity, but he's jogging back now. I think Luke O'Nien's going to take a long throw into the Port Vale penalty area. Quite a long run up, and he gets the ball into the 6-yard box.
Corner.
And it's put behind. Oh, it hasn't dropped out quite from Cameron Humphreys, kept in by Diarra, then O'Nien crosses, not a great clearance, it's still bobbling around before Dejon Brown clears it, and it's back to Hertrauder almost on the halfway line on the right, and he slips it back to Lefay. Dejon Brown goes to close him down. Lefay plays it back to Melke Elborg, who's just outside his penalty area. He passes it back to Enzo Lefebvre, inside to Herr Trauder, back out to Angulo, but it rolls off him, out for a throw to Port Vale. 10th minute of the game, 0-0. Fairly cagey. Picked up in the centre by Ojo. Back through Connor Hall to Gauci at the edge of this penalty area. Is a green kit with a big luminous pink stripe down the flanks of his shirt and shorts. Here's Alderete, puts his foot through it again. Angulo, Hall's above him, nods it down to Walsh, and then Ojo back to John and out to Gabriel on this right hand side. On to Reece Walters again on the right, who's been here since he was 9 years old, the 20-year-old midfielder, and now looking to try and get it back again, but it's gone out for a Port Vale throw. On halfway, Kyle John comes forwards to take it. A youthful looking 25-year-old playing as a centre-back this afternoon. He's not the biggest, 5'9". The ball down the right onto the head of Dejan Brown. Gabriel pushes Talby down, but no free kick, no foul. Ballard heads it out from the edge of the penalty area. Lefebvre hooks it high in the air. Hall wins the header above Mienda. It drops down here for Brown. He's tussling with Alderete, who finds Angulo. He's pulled back by Hall. The referees let the advantage go. Angulo away, looking for Mienda down the right of the Port Vale penalty area, and the ball rolls behind for a corner kick.
You've done well then, Angulo. Could easily have gone down.
Yeah. Persevered. The referee played the advantage.
Good advantage there.
Riggs going to take the corner, the third Sunderland corner, this on the right hand side. The other two were on the left, in front of a small cabin between the two stands. Lovely statue to John Rudge, the former Port Vale manager, outside the stadium in the car park. Played a big part in Port Vale's sort of history in the 80s. The ball straight into the hands of the goalkeeper from Rigg. Took it positively, Joe Gauci. He's been capped 8 times by Australia. Out on the left wing then to Liam Gordon, inside to Ojo, very experienced midfielder. Out to John on halfway on the right, looking to thread it through to Dejan Brown, but O'Nien gets the better of him, gets the ball to Lefebvre. Lefebvre, he's given the ball away to Wayne. Diarra has to get back and get in front of Ben Wayne, who holds him off. O'Nien gets the ball off him and plays it to Diarra. Diarra then rolls it back to Alderete, and Alderete calmly brings it up to the edge of the penalty area. Short pass forwards to Diarra, and Diarra just rolling it to the left now to Luke O'Nien, and O'Nien trying to drive this upfield. It's hooked away by Cameron Humphreys, former Rotherham centre-half, straight to Lefebvre, now to Rigg on the left-hand side, and Rigg back to O'Nien. Plays it through the centre circle to Dan Ballard. Angulo's out wide of him. Ballard plays it back to Alderete. 13th minute. Well, we played 13 minutes now, 0-0. Ball given away again. Gabriel trying to get it to Dejan Brown, tackled by Luke O'Nien again. Lefebvre then to his right into the centre circle. Diarra on to Angulo on the far side, at the foot of the railway stand. Inside again, another greatest of passes, picked up by Dejan Brown, who's trying to get away from Lefebvre, runs straight into Alderete, who just uses his body to check Dejan Brown and get the ball to Diarra. They've given the ball away fairly needlessly a couple of times in the last 5 minutes, Sunderland. O'Nien here, Ben Wayne goes to close him down, on to Talby, back again to O'Nien, and back to Alderete. Ben Wayne, who actually is the number 2 in the New Zealand setup to Chris Wood. 28 caps Ben Wayne has for New Zealand, 6 goals. Signed from Plymouth Argyle in the summer. Into the 15th minute then of this FA Cup 5th round tie. Goalless at the moment. Throw to Sunderland. Trowder will take this just back inside the Sunderland half on the right and drops to Lefay. Gets away from Ojo, finds Angulo, but Gordon's all over him, and behind him is Lefay. Lefay swings it across to the left, looking for Talby. Gabriel gets above him, heads it down towards the touchline, then knocks it forwards with his knee to get past O'Nien, and then shows a little bit too much of it to Alderete, who keeps it in on the touchline, forwards to O'Nien, who puts it out, and it's a Port Vale throw. Port Vale fans get behind the team at that. John's going to take this 15 yards inside the Sunderland half on the right hand side to Walters, back to John, back again to Humphreys, and he rolls it back to the goalkeeper Gauci in the D at the edge of the area. Mienda goes to close him down. Gauci gets the ball up over the halfway line onto the head of Hertrauder. Diarra plays it back then to Ballard, forwards again to Hertrauder, closed down by Ethan Archer, and over on that far side, Archer back to Gordon, out onto the wing to Archer again, back to Liam Gordon, this inside the Port Vale half, and back to Connor Hall. He swings it up over the halfway line, looking for the run of Ojo, but headed away by Ballard. Drops for Lefay, and Lefay trying to thread it through to Diarra, cut out, and Walters has it across to Gabriel on this right hand side, inside again to Walters. His socks round his ankles in front of Chris Rigg. Behind him is John, and then Humphreys to the goalkeeper. Left edge of his penalty area. Kicks again down the left. Archer keeps it in, but straight to Diarra. The ball went out, says the assistant.
It just goes to show you the ball's rolled back to the goalkeeper. He's tried to play it upfield and he sort of sliced it really, or he hit a bobble, and he's ended up putting it out of play.
Trowder then with the throw, 10 yards inside the Port Vale half, 17th minute. BBC Radio Newcastle, BBC Sounds, 0-0. Alderete,
and again
O'Nien.
Lefay, a couple of times he's been sloppy with his passing, and got to make sure.
And Port Vale are closing down quickly. I think they know that if they get in the faces of Sunderland, they can win the ball. Here's Ballard, just inside his half on the right. Short pass to Diarra inside of him, into the centre circle, and then on out to Alderete on the left, and he plays a longer ball looking for Talby in the Port Vale penalty area, but straight through to the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper jogging to the 18-yard line. He's going to kick this up over the halfway line. It's going to be O'Nien who nods it back to Elborg. Applauded by the Sunderland fans, all standing in the stand behind Elborg's goal. Alderete then slowly bringing it out inside to Diarra in the middle, and Hertrauder in the middle, and he plays it to Alderete, to Hertrauder again, back out to Ballard on the right hand side, and closed down by Ethan Archer. Ballard plays a ball down the right wing, which Connor Hall turns away. It's put out for a Sunderland throw, just back inside the Sunderland half. 18 minutes played, Port Vale 0, Sunderland 0. Mienda has not seen a great deal of the ball, chested it down. He had a chance early on, but it was scrambled wide. The goalkeeper clears again as the ball broke into the Port Vale penalty area, and then Talby gets nudged in the back in front of Regis de Bries, and it's a free kick to Sunderland, left of midfield. Anthony Taylor all in black, the referee this afternoon. Lefay is going to take this free kick. Later on this afternoon, the so-called Daniel Farker derby, Leeds against Norwich, 4:30 in the FA Cup 5th round. Lefay swings the ball to the right corner of the penalty area. Alderete was a free kick for a foul. Free kick to Port Vale. Fulham and Southampton is still goalless. And they're in the 91st minute of that tie. The goalkeeper then, Gouch, is going to take the free kick for Port Vale. Driven down the left, headed in the air by Ballard, and then just thumped forwards again by Lefay. It's going to bounce in front of Miyenda, but Hall gets in front of him, and the ball out for a throw to Port Vale again, halfway inside their own half. Looking across to the railway stand, there's quite a lot of empty seats actually in that stand, and in the Hamel Road stand as well.
Yeah, you're just looking at the game, Nick, 20 minutes now, and I think one thing which is lacking is quality. And I think this is where, you know, you want Sunderland players to be a little bit more braver on the ball, aren't you?
Well, Rigg now has put himself in an attacking position down the left of the Port Vale penalty area, but the ball has gone out from John. And Ross Stewart has just given Southampton the lead with a penalty at Fulham. So it looks very much like Southampton now will progress to the quarter-finals. They lead 1-0 in the dying moments at Craven Cottage.
Yeah, we've seen what we're playing against now. This is when you've got to start putting your foot on the ball, start to play, make yourself available.
I think there's a lot about the tie that's reminiscent of the Oxford tie. You know, just got to be patient, you've got to grind it out. Ballard down the touchline to Angulo, finds Miyenda, easily dispossessed though by Humphreys. Hall plays it back to the goalkeeper, who taps it back out to Connor Hall, 32-year-old, very experienced, played in non-league before playing at Harrogate Town, then Port Vale a season, 2022 to 23, then a season at Colchester before returning to Port Vale in 2024. Connor Hall. Lefay nods the ball down to Talby. John heads it forwards again, looking for Walsh, but one back by Talby, looking for Miyenda, but it's just too strong for him. John and Humphreys. The ball goes back to the goalkeeper, who kicks it clear of Talby, and it's come all the way up to the other end to Elborg at the edge of his D. We're almost halfway through the first half, goalless. Live on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Alderete in the middle of the Sunderland half. Ballard closed down by Archer, onto Hertrauder, back to Elborg, out to Alderete, now Luke O'Nien, Wayne in front of him, forwards, it's cut out by Walsh, gets it to Ben Wayne, but Ben Wayne paused at a moment, he looked back at the bench, took his eye off the ball rolled out for a throw to Sunderland. I don't know what distracted Ben Wayne. O'Nien with the throw, back to Alderete. And Alderete looks up, and Green Boots just plays it with his inside of his left boot back to Elborg, pushes it out in front of him to Diarra, plays it back to Alderete here on the left. Alderete looks for Talby, he plays it back again to Alderete, and he's rolled it back to Elborg at the edge of the penalty area. I mentioned earlier the floodlights are in full beam. It's a grey afternoon. There's Wayne on the halfway line on the right hand side, battles with O'Nien, the ball breaks for Rigg, but then it breaks for Dejon Brown. Inside of him is Ojo in the centre circle, rolls it to Connor Hall. Hall now down the left wing here to Gordon, he's got Archer ahead of him. Liam Gordon plays it inside though to Funso Ojo, who's making a break down the left of midfield, trying to hold off Angulo, and now Diarra, and he does, and he gets the ball to Gordon, and now again Archer on that far side. In front of him is Angulo, but he steps inside, puts a ball in the penalty area, trying to find Dejon Brown, but Alderete steps in front of him and gets the ball clear. Only out to Ojo again, who plays it back onto the halfway line to Humphreys. Lays it off to John to Gabriel on this right wing, then Wayne back to Gabriel, and he will play it across into the middle, looking for Dejon Brown, drops over his shoulder and back to Elborg. Little spell there from
a little bit
Port
of spell,
Vale.
but you just That's what you want Sunderland to do. They're starting to be a little bit braver on the ball, aren't they? That's what we need to do.
In the 25th minute, 0-0. Alderete looks for Taubé. Let it run through. Nice little bit of skill then for Rigg to run onto the ball, plays it into the centre of the penalty area, but it whizzes through. Mayenda has to chase out on the right to get it. Finds Angulo, plays it back to Hertrauder, and then down to Mayenda again on the right of the penalty area. He tries to push it in, but it's cleared. And now Archer hooks it right back up over the halfway line, and Ballard has to come back. That was a moment of quality from Taubé.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Be a little bit more ambitious.
And here's Alderete. O'Nien. Wayne in front of him. O'Nien turns back towards his own goal. And he lobs his own keeper, and Elborg has to head it over the bar. O'Nien's back pass, lobbed back. Elborg had to head it over for a Port Vale corner.
I tell you what, Elborg, excellent, unbelievable.
Yeah. That was going in.
Because you've got to remember, he can't touch it with his hands.
No, because that was a back pass. Back pass. So a corner. And it's taken short, and then the assistant has waved rolling ball, I think he says, and it'll have to be taken again.
That would have been down as a classic on goal.
Well, wouldn't have been just. Well done, Elborg. This corner then, Archer's going to take long this time. Sweeps it in. Wayne's looking for it, but Ballard's headed it away. Ojo down to Walters in midfield. Comes out to the right again to Archer, and Gula has to stand off him, and in the end Rigg gets the ball off him, but it's not a great clearance. It's going to roll behind off Angulo for another corner.
Panicking there. Chris Rigg had plenty of time to shift the ball.
Bit of indecision. He wasn't sure whether to try and hold off Archer, but in the end the touch from Rigg took it behind for another Port Vale corner. In the 27th minute here, plenty of bodies, Port Vale bodies in the 6-yard box. It's not a great corner.
No.
And Enzo Lafayette is not a great clearance. Behind into the Sunderland fans for another corner. A fourth Port Vale corner. Liam Gordon is coming down to take this one now. Former Warsaw midfielder.
It's got to be strong here.
Guyanan international. Plays it short again to Archer. Corner of the penalty area, sweeps the ball in low. Wayne trying to get on the end of it. So's Brown. Wayne's header scores. Ben Wayne has headed home the first goal for Port Vale in the 28th minute. It wasn't clear than the Newcastle United fan, Ben Wayne, heads the home team into the lead.
Yeah, you've got to say, and again, that's what we talked about. You've got to be strong. You've got to go and compete. Unfortunately, we didn't deal with the first ball in. It's bounced, and there was Wayne to put his head on it.
Sunderland just weren't brave enough to get heads on the ball, and Wayne heads it home.
And you know where that's come from, Nick? From Luke O'Nien's back pass.
Yeah.
And we've not been able to recover because we put the ball out twice for the corner.
Yeah.
Once by Chris Rigg, next one by Lafay. Then the next ball comes in, we don't deal with it. We're sloppy.
So Wayne, his second goal of the week, following his winner.
You've got to show some character now.
Against Bristol City. Scores again. The man from New Zealand, the Newcastle United fan, his mother from Tyneside. Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0.
See what we're made of now.
Yeah, question of character here now. Angulo gets a push in the back from Liam Gordon. Free kick, right side of central midfield in the Port Vale half. In the 29th minute, and the team bottom of League One lead Sunderland by a goal to nil. Referee Anthony Taylor marching back 10 yards, marching Ben Wayne back the 10 yards. Lefay and O'Nien stand over the free kick. Vale Park suddenly comes alive with Port Vale fans making themselves heard. Lefay chips it into the penalty area. It's gone out though to the Port Vale right. Gabriel brings it out and plays it down the touchline. O'Nien keeps it in, hits Gabriel, didn't know a huge amount about it, falls for Wayne. He tries to get it forwards to Gabriel, who made the forward run, but it's cleared by O'Nien. All the way back to Gauci on the outside of his penalty area on the right side to kick it back up into the Sunderland half. Ballard plays it straight to Dejon Brown, and Dejon Brown's caught him. Ballard is a yellow card for Brown for that foul.
What we don't want to be doing, Nick, is getting involved in, you know, the long ball game with them. Their goalkeeper's gone down as well.
He is, yeah.
I think he's trying to take the stink out of the game again.
Yeah, that's the old...
You know, but we haven't been good enough at the present moment. We haven't been strong enough. We've not been brave enough.
The referee's allowing the Port Vale keeper to receive treatment. Ballard's still sitting, nursing his knock.
And, you know, we said before a ball was kicked, Nick, what will Port Vale be strong at? What would they be looking for? Set pieces. Thank you.
And
you've got to be switched on.
The hero of the week, Ben Wayne.
You know, we talk about being sloppy. You know, you look at, you know, the first half an hour of this game. You know, at times we have been sloppy, and I think, you know, conceding that goal just sums up being sloppy, because the back pass by Luke O'Nien was poor.
Yeah.
But after that, as though we never really recovered, did we?
No, not at all. And it was a soft goal to concede.
Soft goal.
Very soft goal to concede. Wayne was under no real duress to get that header past Elborg, 6 yards out. Basically put on a plate for him.
Going to show some character now, Nick.
Yes, without question.
You know, we've got to get one or two of them to stand up and be counted, because we need to see a little bit more from the likes of Chris Rigg and Diarra. You know, Angulo's not really got into the game. Talby, little touches here and there. Mayenda. You know, Lefay at times giving the ball away too easily.
Now, Port Vale, I think, are making a change here. I don't know if it's the goalkeeper. Ben Amos is the substitute goalkeeper for Port Vale, the former Manchester United keeper. O'Nien plays the ball up towards Mayenda, holding off Humphreys. Doesn't break for Talby. Wayne gets it back to John. Now the big appeals on halfway for a handball, was it?
No, it's for Alderete. Dejon Brown.
Now they're going to make a change at the back, because Tyler Magloire is going to come on for Port Vale. So someone, I wonder, picked up a knock, or are they looking to put someone with a bit more height in defence, with something to hold on to? Diarra's trying to get through here, lobs the ball over the keeper, but it's wide. Broke through, got a touch, but it's a good 3 or 4 yards wide.
Yeah, it's gone the wrong
post.
side.
Wrong side. So what's the thinking here? Maguire is going to come on for... No, they've changed their minds. Shrug of the shoulders from Tyler Maguire. He heads back into the dugout. The fourth official shuts down the board, takes it back, and that substitution now not going to be made by the looks of things. Goal kick though to Port Vale, 34th minute, they lead 1-0. BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Angulo heads the ball on. Mayenda gets a head to it, drops to his feet, didn't do a huge amount about it, but he dug it out. Now it's Lefay, surrounded by Port Vale players. He finds Angulo. Angulo now looking to get it in towards Rigg at the edge of the penalty area, comes out to Lefay. Behind him Diarra, and now Alderete, left of midfield. looks to play it wide to Talby. He's got Gabriel in front of him. Talby taking him onto his right, curls the ball into the penalty area, but it's Humphreys who clears it, only as far as Ballard, just in front of the centre circle. Out to the left now to Talby to O'Nien, Gabriel in front of him in the white and black of Port Vale. Lefay gets the ball, slaps it inside for Rigg. He's tackled by John. It comes out to Talby on the left. Wayne's going with him. Talby's crossed and it's headed across the face of the goal, but by the defender Humphreys and away on the far side. Archer gets it out, only as far as Ballard to Diarra inside to Lefay. A little bit more urgency about Sunderland now, understandably, because they've gone one down. Talby on the left from Herr Trauder, and Talby has got Gabriel in front of him. O'Nien forwards of him on the left, sweeps the ball over to Angulo at the bottom corner of the penalty area, and now he's trying to find a way in past Gordon, and he's stuck for a moment, not knowing which way to go. Diarra behind him. Diarra, as the edge of the penalty area, has to play it back to Ballard, and Ballard inside into the centre circle to Alderete as the Port Vale bench urge their players to push out. Lefay plays it on now down to the edge of the penalty area. Flag comes up, Angulo's offside, and a free kick to Port Vale in the 36th minute. The League One team leading 1-0. Gauci, the goalkeeper, will take this. Everybody drifting up towards the halfway line into the last 10 minutes of the first half. Free kick right on the 18-yard line. All the players on the far side in a close-knit group. The kick floats up towards Alderete on the shoulder of Brown. Headed away again by Humphreys, and back it goes to the goalkeeper. 1-0 to Port Vale.
Well done, Chris.
Blocked by Rigg as Port Vale tried to get the ball forwards. Throw to the home team, just down from Regis Lebris. A battle for Brown, which he loses. Lefay lifts one up over the top, but Hall is there, nods it away, but into the path down the left of Angulo. Angulo, both wingers on the left now for Sunderland, and Talby's into the penalty area. Angulo's trying to find a way into the penalty area. Behind him is Lefay. Lefay, left corner of the penalty box, wide to O'Nien. O'Nien back to Enzo Lefay, and Port Vale get everybody back behind the ball. Talby down the left-hand side here now, and Talby trying to find a way through. Finds Lefay again, and again O'Nien down the left, immediately closed down, and playing it back to Lefay. Lefay trying to find Talby, but it's tapped away out to Brown here, and there's a possible break for Port Vale. Ojo up to the halfway line. Gordon's on his shoulder. He's got Archer to his left. Ojo still going. Ojo taps it now to Archer at the edge of the area, but Alderete managed to step in and get the ball out for a throw to Port Vale. Who've gone from one end of the pitch to the other.
We've got to do better. You know, he's broken down on the edge of their box. You know, Talby not expecting the pass.
Is this going to be a long throw?
It's going to be a long throw.
Ethan Archer now on the far side, 10 yards from the corner on the left. Port Vale, if you're just joining us on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds, are leading 1-0. Archer with the throw into the penalty area. Ballard heads it out, drops to Gordon, plays it back out to Archer on the left of the penalty area, dribbling at Angulo. In comes the ball, and Brown pokes it wide of the foot of the left post. There was a chance.
And again, that's the warning sign. You've got to pull your fingers out now, because the last thing you want is them to go 2-0 up.
Well, they were close again.
Yeah, you know.
Elborg drives us up Rigg, headed back by Walters to John. John hooks it up towards Brown. Alderete gets a powerful header in, but it drops to Ojo. Ojo now trying to come in past Lefay, crosses, and it's cleared by Diarra. out to Angulo. Angulo rides a challenge of Gordon, finds Talby in the middle of the Sunderland half, who plays it back to Ballard. 40th minute here, Port Vale leading 1-0. Ben Wain's header in the 28th minute. Alderete still inside the Sunderland half, plays it back to Dan Ballard. Ballard looks up, he's looking for options, but again Port Vale, everybody back
too slow
behind the ball. Alderete left at the centre circle to O'Nien, wide to Talby, inside to Rigg, back to Talby.
Bad
he had to
pass.
do
Talby again,
too quick,
give the ball away.
The ball's given away, and it's Archer again, blocked by Lefay, this time at the edge of the Sunderland penalty area. Out to Diarra. Diarra now has got Rigg on his shoulder, rolls it wider though to Lefay, just inside the Port Vale half, on the touchline, back to Hertrauder, and back again to Dan Ballard. Forwards to Rigg. Rigg now, edge of the centre circle in the Port Vale half, out to his right to Enzo Lefay. Lefay dribbling at Gordon, now pauses, backing the ball away with his foot, and then plays it to Diarra and back to Ballard, or to Hertrauder.
We need movement up front. We've got no movement. We've got no movement.
Diarra, Gordon in front of him, plays it into Mayenda in the penalty area, pushes it to the goal line, still keeps it in, but John comes across, clears it to Angulo, who crosses in towards Diarra, whose header was caught by the goalkeeper, confidently running out to the left of his goal.
I just think there's a lack of movement up front, Nick.
Still 1-0 to Port Vale.
You've got to deal with it.
Ball bounces at the edge of the area, through to Elborg. Alderete, O'Nien on the shoulder of Ben Wain, who scored earlier on. Here's Angulo inside to Diarra. Diarra now looking to break down the right of the Port Vale midfield. Angulo inside of him. He gets to the edge of the area and plays the ball straight at the keeper at the post. Drove it straight at Joe Gauci at the right post.
At least it's a shot on target.
At least had a go. 42nd minute. Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0. Archer just keeps the ball in, gets a big shove in the back from Hertrauder. Free kick to Port Vale, just inside the Sunderland half on the left, on the touchline. Archer hauled up by Funso Ojo. Gordon's going to take this, Liam Gordon.
You got to make sure, set piece again, Nick.
Dejan Brown,
you know, the lad Hall, got to make sure.
Sunderland defensive line, he drifts back on side. 30 yards out, Sunderland have pushed out. Free kick curled in here.
A long way,
in goes Humphreys, it drops over his shoulder and Elborg catches it. Left of his 6-yard box. Ballard now taking this away down the right wing for Sunderland in their blue and white. Port Vale, almost a cream shirt, black shorts. Ball rolls out for Sunderland throw. Diarra's going to take this. Trowder comes across. Diarra pausing and then hands the ball to Trowder, who rather lazily plays the throw back to Ballard, inside to Alderete.
I think you've used the right words there. Lazy. Haven't we?
Yeah,
we are. We've been slow. Look, slow.
Alderete just inside the Port Vale half, down the left-hand side, clips one up towards the edge of the area, but it's easily headed away by Cameron Humphreys. Dejan Brown brings it down and tries to play it down the right wing. Alderete's put under pressure by Ben Wain, but gets the ball back to Elborg, who's out in midfield in the 44th minute. Port Vale leading 1-0. Trowder up to the centre spot, plays it across to Diarra. He's got Gordon in front of him, inside to Angulo, and Hall is out with him, and Diarra's managed to get away, down to the corner of the penalty area, into the box, pulls one across the face of the goal, right across the face of Mienda, but away it goes and out for a goal kick. We haven't got replays, so I don't know how far off that Mienda was.
But again, that's, you know, good play by Diarra. But again, you've got to break your neck to get there.
Yeah, well, it fizzed across the face of Mienda, but out for the goal kick into the last minute. 30 seconds of the 45 to play. Ben Toner's the fourth official's just ready the board. Goal kick then for Port Vale. Gauchi's kick drifts towards the right here and headed on by Gabriel. Alderete takes it on his chest, puts his left foot through it, up towards Mienda, but hooked away again by Hall. Out for a throw. 3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half.
3 minutes of added time. 3 minutes. Additional time is brought to you by
O'Nien with the throw. Long down the touchline. Headed by John and Gabriel out between them. Another Sunderland throw. Halfway inside the Port Vale half on the left-hand side. O'Nien with the throw, looking for Angulo, but it's headed out again by Kyle John for another Sunderland throw. O'Nien's going to take a longer one here now. We're 40 seconds into the first minute of the 3 being added on. O'Nien, a few yards, hurls the ball in towards the near post, getting headed out to Wayne, onto the head of O'Nien, down from Ojo. Talby puts an up and under into the corner of the penalty area.
Anywhere.
But a strong header up in the air from Gabriel. Then it drops away from Diarra for Kyle John, who's holding off Diarra almost on the goal line. And then he digs it out, but straight to O'Nien, who crosses.
Nobody there.
And it's cleared by Connor Hall. Out here for a throw to Sunderland. We're into the second minute of the minimum 3. Talby with a throw back to Lefay. Lefay dribbling on, finding Diarra. Diarra holding the ball away from Wayne, turns, plays it out to Talby on the left. Talby now cutting inside on his right foot, being forced back out towards the centre circle, leaves it for Herr Trauder, who plays it left again to Lefay, who crosses into the penalty area. Ballard nods it down straight to the goalkeeper. We've got just over a minute left.
Get them in at half-time, Nick, and just sit them down.
Rolled out to Gordon, back to Hall. Hefty kick upfield will come all the way back to Elborg, who rolls it out again to Dan Ballard. Ballard then to Alderete. Back again to Ballard. 45 seconds less left of the minimum 3 minutes. Port Vale leading 1-0. Angulo now dribbling at Gordon, still going. Angulo into the penalty area, stabs it through for Mienda, but the keeper comes. Falls on the ball, gathers it for Port Vale, and allows everybody to drift back upfield. Joe Gauchi before following with the ball. Big hefty kick upfield, bounce out for a throw to Sunderland. With 10 seconds or so left of the minimum 3 minutes added on by Anthony Taylor at the end of the first half. Trauder to Ballard, the whistle's at the referee's mouth, he's going to blow. Half time, Port Vale head off, leading by a 1-0. That goal coming from Ben Wayne in the 28th minute, and a soft goal from Sunderland's perspective. A corner on the right, recycled, nodded back into Ben Wayne, 6 yards out, headed over Elborg to give Port Vale the lead. Deservedly so. They worked the harder of the two teams in the first half. They've had the better of the opportunities, if you like, around the penalty areas. Sunderland have huffed and puffed, but they've not really found a cutting edge. The only time they did so was Talby, a lovely little bit of quality to play a dummy past the defender, but the cross in the end, there was nobody in the box, and Sunderland there saw that chance go begging. They've got to be at it in the second half.
Well, that's right, Nick. And again, the word is urgency. I don't think we've seen enough urgency there. The tempo is very, very slow. It's easy for Port Vale just to drop back in the 2 blocks of 4 and just ask questions, break us down if you can. And we can't do it. You can't break them down playing at that pace. It's tap, tap, tap. You've got to have a little bit of urgency. And a couple of times we've seen the likes of Angulu, who's opened up and he's gone with a little bit of pace, or a Diarra who's gone with a little bit of pace. But overall, I just think that times it's too slow. And when we have been put under pressure, we've panicked. A couple of times Talby's given a ball away in regards of when they've been pressured. He just kicked it anywhere. We've seen that with Lefay's giving away 2 sloppy balls, and then you look back at the goal, where the goals come from, and you're thinking, it started with 09. It was a bad back pass. The goalkeeper did excellent, but after that we didn't recover. We had 2-3 opportunities to recover. We got punished on the 3rd one.
Dejon Brown had half an opportunity to double the lead, and if he'd done that, Sunderland, I think, would have been facing quite an ordeal. 1-0, it's manageable. They can get back in the game and hopefully go on to win it. It has to be sorted out today, of course. It has to go to extra time if they do level up, or if they can't find a couple of goals in the second half. What they can't afford to do is concede the second.
They can't concede the second one, but again, it's a leveller. You've come here, and the most probably come here, the Premiership club, Premiership players, and you look at the way they're playing out there and they're strolling themselves around, and you're thinking, oh, we're Premiership players and you're bottom of the league. You've got to roll your sleeves up, and like we've said before, you've got to earn the right to play, and we haven't.
No, I think that summed it up in a nutshell. They have to earn the right to play. Sunderland haven't done that in the first half. Port Vale have. The goal scored by Ben Waine, the Newcastle United fan from New Zealand. And at half-time, with the full second half to come on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds, at the break, it is Port Vale, bottom of League 1, 1. Sunderland, mid-table in the Premier League, 0.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
This morning, we want your northeast fears. Kay, our reporter, is on this morning. Kay, what was yours again?
I've always grew up imagining the Spine Road as this sort of dark road with spooky trees lined with ghouls and ghosts. And I don't think I've ever been up it to this day. The Spine Road.
The Spine Road. I love it. It's like the Spine Road. I'm not here next week. I'm off on my holidays. So Simon Pride sits in and he'll be back after your weekend.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
The first shock of the 5th round of the FA Cup is on the cards. Port Vale leading Sunderland by a 1-0 at half-time. It's a Newcastle fan that scored it as well. Back with Barnsley and Benno for full commentary of the second half in, just over 10 minutes' time. We had a bit of a shock. I suppose it does count as a shock. It's Championship side knocking out a Premier League team in the first game today. Southampton in the 91st minute scoring a penalty. Ross Stewart, to be precise, scoring a penalty as they beat Fulham 1-0 at Craven Cottage. Fulham had 2 different goals ruled out by the video assistant referee for different reasons. The first one very controversial, the second one not quite so much, but Fulham 0, Southampton 1, a final score. The 4:30 game today is Leeds against Norwich. There were 3 games yesterday. The first, the FA Cup weekend started on Friday night when Liverpool won 3-1 at Spurs, but then 3 games yesterday, all won by the away teams. Arsenal 2-1 away at Mansfield, a lot tighter than most people, including most Arsenal fans, had expected. Chelsea were taken to extra time by Wrexham, but eventually beat them 4-2. Alejandro Garnacho and João Pedro scoring the goals in injury time after the former Sunderland midfielder George Dobson had been sent off. And Newcastle United lost against Manchester City for the 4th time this season. Newcastle won Manchester City 3. Harvey Barnes gave them the lead after 18 minutes, and they were by far the better team for the first half hour, but Manchester City got but 1 back before half time through Savinho. And then Omar Marmoush got 2 in the second half to take his tally against Newcastle even higher. Newcastle out of the FA Cup then. Here is their head coach, Eddie Howe.
Yeah, I thought it was a really strong start for us. We just couldn't maintain it today. It seemed like the first half an hour was really good in terms of our energy and quality. And then they grabbed hold of the game and we weren't able to wrestle it back. And then we ran out of gas, and that's what they do to you. They keep the ball so well that you do a lot of running. you're extending a lot of energy to stay in the game, and that was a painful 45 minutes for us.
West Ham against Brentford is tomorrow night. It's a 7:30 kick-off. The draw for the quarterfinals is just before that game, so around about 7:05. In non-league yesterday, some really big wins for our team. Started with Gateshead, 2-1 away at Solihull Moors. That's now 4 wins in 6 matches. Ben Radcliffe with the winner 10 minutes from the end. They're now just 4 points from safety as well. They were 11 points from safety a couple of weeks ago. And so their battle to avoid relegation from the National League continues. They've got a long trip to Southend on Tuesday night. South Shields, though, remain top and have extended their lead at the top of National League North, as well as Fylde dropping points yesterday. South Shields beat Curzon Ashton 3-0 at the First Cloud Arena. Sean McGurk, Paul Blackett and Dan Dodds with the goals. The South Shields manager is Ian Watson. He spoke to Dominic James after the game.
We started the game really well, and the boys were really good. We got 2 goals quick fire, and then we controlled as best we could. We had moments where we give the opposition a little bit of a sniff, but we dealt with them really well as well. So we managed the game from there, and it was a good 3 points for us.
Because AFC Fylde themselves dropped points as well. They drew today after playing in the midweek. It's been a big week for the club, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a big week. Obviously, we just need to focus on us and what we do, and then that's what's really, really important, that we just concentrate on ourselves, and that's what we are doing, and I think that's been our strength in doing so. So we just need to make sure that we dust ourselves down, we recover the best we possibly can. Then we've got another huge game Tuesday as well.
Yeah, how did you prepare the players mentally? Because obviously that was such a big game in midweek, and then to have to do it again just a few days later.
Yeah, we spoke about that, and we spoke about in terms of that is just football. If you want to be successful, you have to find a way. The best players in the world seem to find a way, and the best teams in the world seem to find a way. So you can't sort of come off anything. You have to make sure that you're right there and you're ready to go. And this is what our strength is in terms of taking each day as it comes. Really working on like being present with what's right in front of us, and that comes from everyday training. When we're training, that's the most important session that we're ever going to do in our lives, and we try and carry that onto the pitch as well. So every game just comes, it's the most important game that we're ever going to play. So the mentality from the boys is outstanding, and we just need to keep growing it and keep getting better with it as well.
Yeah, you've created a 4-point sort of cushion as you like. Does that play a factor in the mindset of anything? Like you can breathe for a couple of days now?
No, not really. As I say, we just focus on us. Like, I don't even look at the opposition's results. I don't look at the league table. It doesn't serve me any purpose doing that. I just need to focus on getting the boys recovered now, getting in Monday, making sure that we've really prepped properly for a really, really tough game against Chorley. Because looking at league tables, looking at other people's results doesn't serve me anything at all. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't control what they can do, so we can just control what we can, and that's what we're focused on.
And the fans, I guess, can look at the table. People like us can look at the table. Ian Watson there, the South Shields manager, after their win yesterday. So they're top of the table, and so too are Hebburn, because they beat Gainsborough Trinity 2-1 yesterday, and so they remain top by a couple of points ahead of Hennesford, but Hennesford have a game in hand on them. All 3 goals in yesterday's game came in the first 12 minutes. Gaz Martin and Aidan Haywood with Heburn's goals. It was our featured non-league game of the day yesterday, so it meant that afterwards the Hebburn assistant manager Mark Hudson spoke to our non-league reporter Paul Dixon.
Mark, a tough game this afternoon, but a brilliant win against a very good team in Gainsborough Trinity. All the goals in the first 12 minutes, so you had to hang on right till they added on 5 minutes extra in the game. But what a performance this afternoon.
Yeah, every player was top draw today. It wasn't the prettiest of games. We started pretty well. We went 2-0 up. We got the early penalty, and then Aidan scored from right back. He's cut in on his left foot and he slotted it in lovely. But I think we didn't hold on to the lead for long. We needed to be ahead like 10-20 minutes, but they got a reply shortly after that. I think it was on 12 minutes really. So they were back in the game straight away. And then second half, I think we just seen the game out really. It was a non-event second half, which suited us really because we're 2-1 up.
That keeps you top of the league. South Tyneside at the minute is just amazing, with South Shields top of the league and Hebburn top of the league. Brilliant for this area, but brilliant for non-league football in the northeast.
Yeah, we just got to keep going. We've got 7 cup finals to go. I think if you look at the top 6 in the league at the minute, I think 5 of them you would say at the beginning of the season that they'd be up there. There's like you've got your Stocktons, Gainsboroughs, FCs, Hendersforths, Warrington Rylands, and then Little Hebburn in there, top of the tree at the minute. But still a long way to go. There's still 7 games, 21 points. So we'll keep going, keep our heads right.
Another chairman, Vin Pearson's always looking for extra crowds, but there was a crowd of 691 here today, which is very good.
Yeah, it's up there with one of the better attendances this year. I think no disrespect to the fans and that, but we need more in to the gate in home games. I think our average. I looked at the average in the league the other day, and I think we were second bottom, and we've been in the top 5 most of the season. And I think even when we won the league 2 years ago, the attendances didn't really go up. So it's a shame, because we've got like South Shields close by, Gateshead, and when Newcastle and Sunderland are doing well, people go there. But hopefully for the last 7 games they can get behind us. I think we've got 4 or 5 home games left, and we've been really strong at home. I think we've only lost opening day of the season at home, and that was against Hendersforth.
And you're really wanting to make the push to get promoted this season. I've spoken to Vin, the chairman, and he's excited about going up. But you can't believe it. This is your 2nd season in this league, and you're now sitting top of the league.
Yeah, I think last year we just had to stay in the league, even though we wanted to be a little bit higher than the 14th finish. But we've seen what the league was like. We improved the squad over the summer, and the addition of the loan players this year have really helped us as well, because if we didn't have them 4 or 5, then we would be bare bones. They've really come in and added a bit of pace to the team. But they might be getting ahead of themselves, but we just keep our feet firmly on the floor. We're professional enough, the players are professional enough, and we just keep going.
That's Mark Hudson there, the Hebburn Town assistant manager, talking to Paul Dixon after their win yesterday. He's being a little bit harsh on his own supporters in terms of where they sit in the attendance table, the home attendance table. They're 15th of the 21 teams in that division, but yeah, still down the bottom, and would still absolutely welcome, which is what Mark was saying, welcome as many people through the door as possible. Elsewhere yesterday in that division, Morpeth Town drawing 1-1 at Stocksbridge Park Steels, and a very good point it was as well, having had Jeff Henderson sent off after 15 minutes. In the East Division, Ashington 0, Grimsby Borough 0. Not a bad result either, given that Carl Ross was sent off for Ashington midway through the second half. It's a little mini run of 3 unbeaten for Ashington. Blythe Town, though, beaten 3-0 at home by Matlock Town. Consett won 4-3 away at Bridlington. Eddie Thomas scored twice and was then sent off, but they held on. Dunstan came from behind to beat Silsden 2-1 as well. A couple in the last 10 minutes, Regan Patterson and Josh Donaldson. Eden Stannington beat Garforth 1-0, Dale Pearson after half an hour, and Blythe Spartans made it 4 wins out of 5 to move even further away from the relegation spots in the East Division. Jack Foley in the first half giving them a 1-0 win away at Ossett United. Berwick Rangers beat Albion Rovers 3-1 in the Scottish Lowland League. Lucy Bronze was on the score sheet and won her 145th cap for England as they beat Iceland 2-0 in Nottingham yesterday. In the Rugby League, Newcastle Thunder getting underway in about half an hour's time away at Swinton Lions in the Championship. And the best of luck to Whitley Warriors tonight as well. It's 4-4 going into the second leg of their Scottish Cup semi-final. They're away at Aberdeen Lynx tonight. It's a 6 o'clock face-off. So the best of luck to them. Right then, Sunderland have got it all to do in the second half. They are a goal down at Port Vale to take you through the second half, and perhaps extra time and penalties. Who knows? They're back in just a tick. Gary Bennett and Nick Barnes.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Plays it short again to Archer. Corner of the penalty area. Sweeps the ball in low. Wayne trying to get on the end of it. So's Brown. Wayne's header. Scores. Ben Wayne has headed home the first goal for Port Vale in the 28th minute. It wasn't clear than the Newcastle United fan, Ben Wayne, heads the home team into the lead.
Total Sport North East.
The FA Cup.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
So waiting for the players to emerge for the second half. It's just been chatting to my colleague from Radio Stoke, saying that Port Vale have got an issue here. If they are to go through the quarter-finals of the weekend of the Easter weekend, and of course traditionally the Football League clubs have 2 games.
Right.
So Port Vale have got games against Rotherham and Cardiff the Easter weekend. They've already got a backlog, and every Tuesday night they've got a game until the end of the season. So if they get through to the quarter-finals of the FA Cup, they're not sure when they're going to play those games. He says they'll be playing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Nice problem to have.
It is. So here come the teams. Sunderland, blue and white, of course, and Port Vale in white and black. And it looks like there's no changes to either team, or is there a change? Cameron Humphreys is being replaced by Tyler Magloire, who they were going to, I think, make that change in the first half, but they didn't. But they've made it now for the...
It's number 35, Tyler Magloire.
Made that change now, so Magloire comes on for the second half.
For Humphreys. No, not for Humphreys.
Yeah.
He's still on, isn't he?
Well, they said they've just announced Humphreys.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because he's a 35 and Humphreys was 25. You're looking at the 5 on the back of the shirt.
Correct.
So Sunderland, their blue and white, will be attacking the goal to our right as we look down from the main stand here, left to right, and that's attacking the away end this afternoon, where the 3,000 plus Sunderland fans are housed. But it's Port Vale who lead by that Ben Waine goal, and the ball is just pushed behind for a Port Vale throw in the corner on the left from the kick-off. Sunderland kicking off.
You'd expect him to play with a little bit more tempo now.
A bit more gusto, a bit more quality.
They're all in this corner, look at them. 22 players.
Yeah, everybody grouped here, no space.
20.
Lefay nods it through to Rigg. He taps it away under challenge from Waine, and it gets to Talby, who shoots over the bar, but look, have a go. No harm. Elborg applauding the attempt, standing in the middle of the Sunderland half, the way to our left. Melker Elborg in orange. The Port Vale keeper Joe Gauchi in green with a fluorescent pink stripe down the side of his shirt and shorts. Elborg in goal for Sunderland. Hertrauder, Ballard, Alderete and O'Nien. Angulo, Diarra, Rigg, Lefay and Mienda is the starting 11. No changes made by Sunderland, but the change made at the back by Port Vale, who are trying to get forwards down the left wing here by Liam Gordon and Ojo. Higher ball played up, which is headed away by Alderete, and then Lefay nodding a ball back down to Luke O'Nien, and so eventually a throw to Sunderland on the left, just inside the Sunderland half. Long ball hurled down the touchline. Mienda's chasing it into the corner, but Maguire's gone with him, and it's a corner to Sunderland. First corner of the second half, first corner to Sunderland in the second half, and the fourth of the game for Sunderland. Lefay's going to take this in front of the Sunderland fans. A lot of bodies in the penalty area, 2 Sunderland players still outside it. Lefay curls it in, there's another pushing, the keeper's punched the ball out. O'Nien's headed it back in again, the keeper couldn't get hold of it. Diarra's ball is headed off the line, comes back in, and the keeper gets his body behind it. Mienda's shot. Mienda's having a word with the referee, presumably VAR will look at whatever was happening in the box.
That's a foul on Ballard.
The keeper kicks up to Alderete to head away. Hertrauder hooking it on, headed away again by Connor Hall, drops to Rigg. He plays one up over the top, looking for Mienda to try and get away from Kyle John, who seems to be holding him back, and the referee is giving the free kick to Kyle John and Port Vale. So incident early on, referee having a word with Diarra, I think explaining his decision.
He's trying to block Mienda's run, isn't he?
The referee then has given the free kick to Port Vale. The goalkeeper's going to take this. 3 minutes into the 3.5 minutes into the second half. Gauci on loan from Villa, onto the head of Ballard, strong header forwards. McGlaw gets the ball out though to Gordon on this left-hand side, looking for Dejon Brown, who shoves Ballard over. And then the referee's let play go on. It would have been a free kick, but he's allowed Sunderland the advantage. It's played out to O'Nien on the left-hand side. Gauci in goal for Port Vale. And now a back three of John, McGlaw and Hall. Midfield of Gabriel, Walters, Ojo and Gordon. A front three of Archer, Wayne and Brown in the middle. Dejon Brown, who had a spell on loan from Derby County at Gateshead. He's on loan here from Derby County. And is that a free kick?
Talby.
For a foul on Talby. This right on the touchline, on the left, on the halfway line. We're in the 50th minute. Talby being helped up. Sunderland really need to get back in this game sooner rather than later. O'Nien's going to take the free kick. Taps it short to Lefay. Lefay now drives it through to Rigg. Blocked though by Maguire. It's come back to Ballard on halfway. Forwards to Angulo on this right hand side. Inside to Diarra. Back to Ballard, who rolls it back to Elborg. Brown goes to close him down. Played out to Ballard, up to Diarra again. And he's played it just short to Angulo on the touchline. And what's the referee indicating there?
He does a foul on him.
Regis Lebris is trying to indicate it was a foul. Referee Anthony Taylor's had none of it. Eventually all the way back to Gauci, the goalkeeper. Big kick upfield. Alderete goes strongly into the back of Brown, puts him off. The ball drops for O'Nien. Another long ball played down the left wing. Talby has to hold off Gabriel, but it's played out to Walters.
Not getting anything.
It's now broken and rolled out on the Sunderland right, halfway inside the Port Vale half. Herr Trauder with the throw. Back to Ballard. 52nd minute. BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Port Vale still lead 1-0. Alderete to Ballard to Herr Trauder's. The winners win £225,000 today. The losers get nothing. Ballard forwards again, lifting it up towards Mienda. Easily whipped off his foot by Gordon, who turns it out into midfield.
Oh, that's a foul.
And a foul by Ojo on Diarra. Right side of central midfield. Lefay will take the free kick. Anthony Taylor applies the spray. The referee all in black this afternoon. Port Vale push out to the 18-yard line. Spray's applied a couple of yards outside the penalty area in front of Dejon Brown, Ben Wayne, Gabriel and Archer. Diarra jogs back to join Lefay and O'Nien for a quick word. And to the left of that trio is Chris Rigg, but Diarra rejoins his teammates at the edge of the penalty area. Lefay's right arm raised momentarily, chips the ball into the box. Mienda's header will drop away wide.
Poor
goal kick to Port Vale, who lead 1-0.
He's in no rush to goalkeeper.
Home to Bradford City on Wednesday night, Port Vale. Everybody grouping around the centre circle to this near side for Gauci. 6'4", the Australian on loan from Aston Villa. Kicks up to the halfway line, and it's Ballard who puts his head to it, but it'll drop for Gabriel. Talby goes with him on the far side. Gabriel, signed from Blackpool in the summer, plays it back to McGlaw, who plays it up now towards Dejon Brown. Holds it up. Behind him is Wayne, but it's whipped off him by Enzo Lefay.
Oh, that's a
He's fouled.
That's got to be a booking.
And it's a booking for Wayne. he joins Brown in Anthony Taylor's book for that challenge in the 54th minute. We'll be having a phone in afterwards, Benno. Plenty to talk about for you in a moment. Of course, that dependent on extra time and penalties. The ball goes out for a throw to
a long throw.
Sunderland on the right here, which Luca Nine's coming down to take. Angulo drops the ball. Yeah, you'll be able to give us a call 0800 234 6565. Drop us a message. Text us on 81333, put BBC at the front of your message. O'Nien then with this long throw for Sunderland. Hangs in the air. And some holding on Ballard. I thought he was being pulled back, but nothing given. Ballard doesn't object. Ball's back with the goalkeeper. Caught that comfortably. Kicks long. And now it's between Dejan Brown and Lefay, and Brown spins Lefay off the ball. The ball comes back and he's given the free kick to Port Vale. This is about a third of the way inside the Sunderland half on the right side of midfield.
I wonder if we see Wilson Isidore.
Andre Gray is coming on for Port Vale, the Jamaican international forward. Waiting to come on at the touchline. I wonder if Dejan Brown will be the player he replaces. That seems to be the general thinking. Archer over the
concentration
free kick.
Here on this free kick, Nick.
Gabriel just jogging around the back of him. Ethan Archer then on loan from Luton with the free kick for Port Vale. Drives it into the penalty area straight at Elborg, who falls gratefully to his knees with the ball firmly clutched to his chest. Rolls it to Alderete. Andre Gray still waiting to come on. Another experienced player, 34 years old, signed in January from Karagümrük in Turkey. Alderete. George Hall looks like he's going to possibly come on as well. We have two Halls on the pitch as Mienda now trying to win the ball on the goal line, but it's hooked behind by Gabriel for a corner. So double switch being made by John Brady. Still waiting to come on, the pair of them, George Hall and Andre Gray. Lefay from the left with this corner kick. 57th minute, swings in. Ojo heads it out to the edge of the D. Brown heads it on, trying to get away as Archer, but O'Nien's there to cover. Diarra's in front of him, but he gives the ball where he plays it off Archer for a throw. Substitution's being made now, and Archer's coming off for Hall.
Ethan Archer. It's number 33, George Hall.
And
replacing number 10,
Brown is the player being replaced by Gray. Straight swaps.
It's number 45, Andre Gray.
He did have half an opportunity, Dejan Brown, in the first half, but he stabbed the ball past the foot of the post. So Andre Gray now is his replacement. Began his career, the 34-year-old, at Wolves. Here's Lefay, back to Ballard on the halfway line, inside to Alderete. Alderete, in the blue and white of Sunderland, plays a ball up into the penalty area. Connor Hall heads it in the air. Across comes McGlaw. It drops for Angulo off his head, and Angulo now right side of the penalty area plays it back to Trauder, who's trying to get away from George Hall. Plays it into Diarra to the goal line. Just kept it in, has he? The assistant doesn't know what to do. He's given the corner. He was undecided for a moment, but he's given the corner, and Chris Rigg coming down to take this in front of the Sunderland fans. We're in the 58th minute, just over half an hour left to play, and Port Vale still lead by 1-0.
Good corner, quality.
Trauder's up in the 6-yard box.
Fouling him.
There's a lot of jostling going on. The referee's paused play. He's having a word. He's pulled out Ballard and Connor Hall, but now he's allowing play to go on. Rigg with the corner, a bit deep, and Ballard heads it behind. He was stumbling away, falling
It's a poor
backwards,
corner.
lost his balance.
I've got to say, it's got to be
Trying to say
better
to the
than that.
referee his shirt was being tugged, but nothing's going to be given as a result of that. 59th minute, Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0.
I just think that you need to get Wilson Isidore on, just freshen things up, maybe play with two up front, do something.
And Andre Gray played in the 2019 FA Cup final for Watford against Manchester City. Told you he was experienced, he's been around the block.
Jamaican international, isn't he?
He is, 13 caps, 3 goals. Mayenda now trying to get through, but there are 2 defenders in front of him. Connor Hall puts his hands behind his back and the ball rolls out for a Sunderland throw over on the far side. 1-0 Port Vale lead into the final half an hour. Luke O'Nien's going to take another long throw. They're keeping 3 back out because Port Vale are keeping a couple of players out. O'Nien hurls it in again. It drops here now. They're trying to get it clear. Riggs trying to get a foot on the end of it. It's going to be Walters who brings it out along the goal line and passes it out to Andre Gray. And Andre Gray kicks this long, looking for George Hall's run. George Hall against Trout. Out comes Elborg. Oh, he's caught George Hall at the edge of the penalty area.
Edge of the box.
Right on the edge of the penalty area, George Hall's taken down by...
Yellow card. It's all going off. It's all over the place.
He's shown the yellow card. George Hall was away there. That all came from a Sunderland ball into the penalty area with a long throw.
Wow.
He was inches away from giving away a penalty there, Elborg. But I mentioned how Port Vale kept a couple of players out and they got the counter-attack. And now they have a free kick right on the edge of the penalty box.
They haven't got VAR, they've got GYM on the scoreboards.
So Port Vale, who lead 1-0, have a free kick right on the edge of the Sunderland penalty area to the right of the D. Melker Elborg shown the yellow card. And they're checking for possible red card. Denial of goal scoring opportunity.
I thought it would have been even looking at
Port Vale fans. Now he's having to come across Anthony Taylor to the... There's another yellow card, that's for John Brady. So, no red card.
No red card.
That's the decision. No red card.
No red card, no penalty, no nothing, but we've got to make sure we don't concede.
Yes. So no denial. He was going wide. I mean, George Hall was going wide. I assume that's why that was the decision. But it is a free kick.
Concentration here.
George Hall, Ben Waine over the ball for Port Vale. It's getting a bit feverish in here. As Elborg now
stay together.
4 in the wall. And plenty of Port Vale players in the penalty area. It's George Hall into the wall, comes back to him, he gets it back into the wall, and they stab it out. Riggs stabs it out, but Liam Gordon's there on halfway and will play it back to the goalkeeper. The referee's pulled play back here. And I'm not sure what that was for. Free kick to Sunderland in the centre of the Sunderland half. 63rd minute, Port Vale, bottom of League One, lead Premier League Sunderland 1-0. Alderete.
We're going to get opportunity, Nick. We're going to get at least 2 opportunities. You've got to take.
But they've got to take.
We'll have to take one.
Here's Talby on the left. Swings it across
Give the ball
into the middle,
away
but
again,
George Hall
Talby.
gets there. Now it's broken for Herr-Trauder in the centre circle to the Fay, closed down by Walters. Herr-Trauder again to Ballard. Ballard looking for the run of Mayenda or Angulo, turned away by Port Vale. Another throw to Sunderland on the right. Trowder will take this. Diarra hands in the ball. 64th minute, 1-0 Port Vale lead. BBC Radio Newcastle, BBC Sounds. Back it goes to Ballard, inside to Alderete. And Alderete, there's plenty of blue shirts forwards of him, but Port Vale everybody back. Looks for Angulo, down the right side of the Port Vale penalty area, almost on the goal line. Defender in front of him, stabs it away, rolls out for a throw, off Gordon, a foot away from the corner flag on the right hand side. Luke O'Nien jogging down to take yet another long throw for Sunderland.
Ballard's having a word with the referee to keep your eye open, man.
65th minute, Luke O'Nien with the throw. Sunderland having to keep a couple of players back out in midfield because Port Vale are doing likewise. In comes the throw. It's nodded down onto the head of Ballard, headed away by George Hall. Ballard gets a push, but the referee just waves it away. And Wayne looking for the break here on the right-hand side into the Sunderland half, but it rolls harmlessly in the end into Elborg from Andre Gray, who made that run down the right. I think there was a hint, for my mind, of offside, but flag stayed down. The ball's back with Elborg, out to Ballard, now Alderete. And there's a real threat from Port Vale on the counter-attack.
On the counter-attack. We've got to react to the second ball in the opposition's box. We haven't done that.
Ballard to Diarra on the halfway line. Now drops for Liam Gordon. Plays it straight to Ballard again. Andre Gray was on his shoulder. Ballard to Lefay in the middle. Lefay in the centre circle. Picking out Talby down the left wing. Dribbling at Ben Wayne in front of him. Scorer of the only goal so far. Talby back into Hertrauder. On now to Diarra. Right corner of the penalty area. Into the middle to Hertrauder again. And now Lefay. O'Nien looking for Talby. McGlaw's gone with him. Talby plays it back here to O'Nien. O'Nien back to Lefay.
Put it in the box.
Lefay down the left again to Talby. Looks to cross. Here is the cross. Diarra will stretch. No, he doesn't even attempt to stretch for it. It's gone behind for a goal kick to Port Vale.
Tell you what,
lead 1-0.
We haven't been good enough around that 18-yard box, Nick.
No quality in there, is there?
No. You know, look at how many opportunities they've recreated. None.
Isidore is, I think, being ready. Isidore is going to come on for Sunderland.
Yeah.
Just something a little bit different.
We'll come on for maybe Talby or somebody, or even Rigg.
You don't think it'll come on for Meander?
No. You've got to go for it.
Yeah. 67th minute.
Got nothing to lose, Nick. Got to try a way to get back into the game.
The tie. So the substitution is imminent. Sunderland trailing 1-0 on this gloomy afternoon in more than one respect for Sunderland. Here's Angulo trying to get through. There's a bit of a battle which Walters wins. The ball breaks though for Talby. Comes back to Ballard in the centre circle. Isidore's out. And here's Hertrauder on the right. Taps it back to Ballard. And Ballard now closed down by George Hall. Plays it to Alderete. Swings it down the left wing. Looking for the run of Lefay. Lefay, run into the box from O'Nien. Lefay's still trying to get it in past Gabriel. And it's off the Port Vale midfielder for a corner to Sunderland.
He's going to make it now.
Isidore's coming on for Talby, you're right. 68th minute. Talby comes off then. Isidore, will he play off the left? Or will he change the formation?
I think he might put Rigg out wide left. Get Isidore up alongside Mayenda.
So it's going to be a 7th Sunderland corner. Lefay at the left, below the big electronic screen, which shows 1-0 to Port Vale. Lefay curls this in. It's headed over by Ballard from 6 yards. Couldn't keep it down. And that's another goal kick to Port Vale. 68 minutes played.
Yeah, Angula's gone to the left, Rigg's come to the right.
Time running out. Joe Gauci places the ball in the right corner of the 6-yard box. The players all gravitate towards the right wing. and the ball swept down that right side by Gauci. Alderete has his eye on it, but so does O'Nien. Drops back for Lefay. Lefay to Trowder in the middle, out to the right to Chris Rigg, and Rigg now closed down by Gordon, who tries to block his run, and comes back to Ballard. Ballard in the centre circle, to his right to Diarra. Sunderland in blue and white. Rigg from Diarra down the right, takes it onto his left and looks to play this into the box. Looking for Angulo. Oh, it's tipped over. Angulo's header tipped over from the angle. For another Sunderland corner. Bit more positive from Sunderland now. Diarra is looking back at the dugout. There's a few words being exchanged, shouted across, some instructions.
Make sure you don't get
with the corner again.
Make sure we don't get caught and break.
From the left-hand side, it hangs in the air. Ballard just over.
Corner.
Another corner. Did the keeper then get a fingertip to it?
He must have got a touch.
He must have done. It looked to me like it was clean over, but it looks like Gauci must have got a touch to that. It's another Sunderland corner. Rigg's going to take this one on the right-hand side. Played nearly 70 minutes. Port Vale leading 1-0.
Come on.
Rigg then with his left. Is it too deep? It's gone towards the far post, headed back in behind Trowder, headed out by Gabriel. O'Nien puts it back in, it bounces through to the keeper, who's going to kick this upfield because he knows Andre Gray's looking to break on the Fay, but Angulo's got back and heads the ball away.
And
then Rigg fouls Ojo. Elbow in his back.
Silly.
And it's a free kick to Port Vale. Keeper's down.
Down again.
The Port Vale keeper. And one can't help but think this is a bid to slow everything down again, break up the play. It's effective, isn't it? It works, and every team's doing it. Can't complain. Sunderland did it on Tuesday night at Ellen Road.
You know what? You know what it is, Nick? Earlier on in the season, the same thing happened, and the referee told the keeper to get up, and that's what he's got to do. There's nothing wrong with him.
You just don't know, do you? I mean, Anthony Taylor's walking back to the keeper sitting in the penalty area with two physios with him. Both teams have come down to the dugouts to get coached, if you like. The referee's got to the keeper, he's up on his feet now.
I must want to tell him to stop going down.
So everybody having to come back on field. Not that they've literally got off field, but they're all down by the technical areas.
How would you look on this result, Nick, if it doesn't go our way?
Well, I just think Port Vale have deserved it so far. They've been the team for the appetite with it. I think the first half, Port Vale had a greater appetite for the game than Sunderland did. And now we're in a situation, what's the referee going to do here? So Liam Gordon is going to take free kick down the left wing to George Hall, who's taking on Rigg, and now Hall goes down, but no fouls, as Anthony Taylor was right behind him, and Elborg kicks the ball to Alderete. 73rd minute, we're going to have a few minutes added on without question for that stoppage alone. Here's O'Nien, but Port Vale lead 1-0. Back it comes to O'Nien, under pressure from Wayne, plays it back all the way to Elborg in his orange at the edge of the area, passes it out to Alderete again. Alderete down the line to Lefay, and Lefay back to Alderete. It wouldn't be the first time Sunderland left it late in recent years in the FA Cup. I remember at Shrewsbury Town that Luke O'Nien scoring in the last minute. But here's Ballard to Rigg to Diarra. Diarra looking for the run of Mienda. Mienda now down the right, and John puts his foot through it, puts it behind. He's claimed the goal kick, and the referee and the assistant have both given the goal kick. There's Gauci strolls back to the corner of his 6-yard box. 1-0 Port Vale lead, 74th minute. Players towards this touchline. Gauci with the kick. Floats, spins up and towards Ballard. He gets a foot to it. Drops though for Rhys Walters, then Wayne. And now Walters and Ballard compete for it. Ojo, the loose ball, hangs in the air. Alderete heads it away from George Hall. Up goes Rigg. Up went Ojo. It comes through to Mienda. And now Isidore trying to thread it through for Diarra, but Gordon's got in front of him.
Free kick.
But the ball, the play's been pulled back for fouls on Isidore and Mienda.
Yeah.
Both picked themselves up, and the free kick just inside the Port Vale half. Port Vale on the threshold, 10,685, and there's 3,110 from Sunderland. Port Vale on the threshold of reaching the quarterfinals for the first time since 1954. The ball floated into the penalty area. Keeper came out, couldn't get on the end of it, and now it's over on the left-hand side with Angulo. Angulo in the corner, one back though by Gabriel. Angulo's trying to stick with him, and there's a free kick to Port Vale. So, a quarter of an hour or so to go. The League One team leading 1-0. Angulo picks himself up and walks away. Goalkeeper is going across to take the free kick for the home team. Into the 76th minute.
Wonder if the extras to do something.
The kick is a long one, but it'll roll back to Alderete. Inside to Lefay. Lefay now turning into the middle of his own half, taking it on up towards the halfway line. Enzo Lefay. Riggs calling for it on the right wing. It's gone left to Luke O'Nien. Lifts one down the left wing, headed away by McGlaw from Isidore. Then one back by Angulo, and he's handled it. He's trying to claim it was his shoulder. The referee's given the free kick to Port Vale.
They'll take the time.
Which they are. And out comes Joe Gauci, the goalkeeper, to take it. Everybody on that half of the field. Gauci with the kick, and it'll come to Alderete, heads it on towards halfway. Connor Hall heads it high in the air, comes down again as a melee really, and it's a foul in the end on Diarra. It's a free kick to Sunderland just behind the centre circle, and you're at the stage of the game now, whoever scores next. If Port Vale score a second, it's over. Sunderland need to score to force it, if not into extra time, at least give themselves a chance. Is Isidore trying to push it through, but behind Angulo, and allowed to roll behind for a goal kick to Port Vale.
Lacking quality. That sums up our afternoon,
Well,
isn't
the problem is that Port Vale were given something to hold on to when Wayne scored, and they've done so.
Well, we was lazy in the first 45 minutes,
Yeah.
Nick. At least we've come out in the second half and shown a little bit of tempo.
Again, all the players in a small area of the pitch around the right of the centre circle for the goal kick. It's off Ojo's head. He gets a header on again, and it's played back by Andre Gray to Liam Gordon. It's a bit of an optimistic up and under. George Hall looking for it. Ballard heads it down and then tries to get in front of the Port Vale man, and eventually the ball put out for a Port Vale throw on the left. Certainly been played with a bit more gusto in this second half. And Liam Gordon, international with Guyana, will take the throw. Needs some support. He's no hurry to take the throw in the 78th minute. Down the left it goes. Andre Gray he's looking for. Now it's Diarra tries to play it forwards, plays it off the back of the Port Vale man, Gordon. It's a throw to Sunderland, which has left the Herr Trauder to take. To Lefay. Lefay now into the middle to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien wide to Angulo, closed down by Gabriel. Angulo back behind him to O'Nien, just inside the Sunderland half, back again to Alderete. And Alderete looks up, swings it out, looking for Rigg. Rigg tries to get the head on it, drops towards the touchline, and Rigg runs onto it. And now Rigg lays it off to Lefay. Lefay into the box, and now off the post from Mayenda.
Offside.
Angulo was coming in, but the offside flag was up anyway. 1-0 still. We have played 79 minutes. Port Vale leading from the 28th minute. The clock is ticking down on Sunderland's FA Cup.
They're going to make another substitution.
Again, this goal kick is going to go down the right. Players over on that far side. Gauci with it. Ball spins up to the halfway line. Alderete gets a powerful header on it, but it'll be headed away by McGlaw, and it's going to come down for Angulo, and referees given Sunderland the free kick. A challenge on Angulo. Luke O'Nien's going to take this. Alderete's going forwards. Lefay's stayed back on the shoulder of Andre Gray. The substitution's going to be made. Gordon being replaced by Eli Campbell, who's on loan from Everton.
Replacing number 15, Liam Gordon.
So this substitution coming now with 10 minutes or so to play. Eli Campbell, an Evertonian defender, on loan.
27, Eli Campbell.
Yeah, and Sunderland are going to make another substitution. Is that Alexic?
It is Xhaka is going to come on. I don't think it's something they wanted to do, but the hand has been forced. Here's the free kick up towards the edge of the area. Connor Hall heads it away.
Don't foul.
Alderete's on his shoulder. It looked like a hand then, but it's not being given. And the ball in the air, it's gone out, has it? No, it hasn't gone out. And the ball drops at Diarra's feet. He's closed down by Reece Walters. Back behind him to Rigg. And Rigg tries to play it forwards and does to Diarra. Diarra, it's a strong challenge by Ojo on Lefay, but no foul. And it's played through to George Hall. Diarra's having to get back. George Hall into the penalty area. O'Nien makes the challenge. It's a corner, and what a timely challenge that was from Luke O'Nien.
Good challenge that.
Because George Hall was in again for Port Vale. Xhaka waiting to come on here. Corner on the left though for Port Vale. George Hall is going to take it. Cannot afford to concede a second here, Sunderland. 82nd minute. Port Vale, they've kept 4 players back out of the penalty area in midfield, taking no chances on the Sunderland counter-attack. George Hall then with this corner on the left. He's happy to take his time, Hall. Anthony Taylor keeping a close eye on all the bodies inside the penalty area, most of them in the 6-yard box, and the ball goes straight into the side netting.
Substitution now.
So the substitution is Rigg is coming off for Xhaka.
Replacing number 11, Chris Rigg. It's number 34, Granit Xhaka.
So 7 minutes of the 90, Xhaka comes on. Sunderland are trailing 1-0. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. We'll have a phone in if this has ended in 90 minutes. 0800 234 6565. You can text us on 81333. Put BBC at the start of your message, or WhatsApp us on 08000 321 333. Again, putting BBC at the start of your message. Here's Xhaka, just inside the Port Vale half. Leaves it for Lefay. Finds Hertrauder, now down the right to Diarra of the penalty area, and Diarra trying to come in past Campbell, sweeps the ball behind. In fact, it's going to go out for a throw on the far side if it hasn't already gone behind the goal line. I didn't think it went out, but I think the assistant has already indicated goal kick. He had.
That's a strange one.
2 balls on the pitch. The goalkeeper, there's a ball boy on the far side, just sits back down on his stool, and Joe Gaucher goes across. I suspect he's happy to do so, just to waste a few seconds. Lobs the ball behind. Goal kick then in the 84th minute now for Port Vale, who lead 1-0.
We'll get one more chance, Nick.
Oh, they have to take it.
Correct.
There's a major upset on the cards here. Port Vale away, 6 minutes away from creating it, plus whatever time is added on by Anthony Taylor. Now another bundle melee, but the ball allowed to roll and play go on from Anthony Taylor. It's come back to Gabriel on the touchline on the far side for a Port Vale throw. 85th minute now. McLaw's left to take the throw, is he? Picks the ball up. A big centre half, signed from Workington in January. Longish throw, headed on by Gabriel. It should come back here behind for a goal kick. Elbaugh grabs the ball off a cone, kicks the ball short to Ballard. Sunderland have got to get it up the other end. Ballard bringing this out now. 85th minute. The players can see the time on the big screen in the corner. O'Nien on the far side, just in the Port Vale half, forwards to Angulo. Angulo back to Lefay, and Lefay back again to Alderete. Alderete on halfway, left of the centre circle, threads one through over the top for Angulo, but it runs behind.
Too straight.
Another goal kick to Port Vale.
Tell you what, we haven't been creative enough, have we?
No,
we haven't created.
The finals looking a long way away at the minute.
Yeah.
Port Vale less than 5 minutes plus time away from a place in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup for the first time since 1954. The ball floats up over the halfway line, headed on, but back to Alderete, and he tidies up back to Elbaugh, who passes it out to Alderete again. And it's not a case of the wrong team, it's the only team really that Regis Lebris could have played, unless he was prepared to start Xhaka, which I think was a gamble he wasn't prepared to make on this pitch. But Xhaka now plays it to Ballard, and Ballard back to Xhaka. And really, in all honesty, it should have too much for a team who are bottom of League One.
Of course, yeah.
Angulo, Gabriel in front of him, back inside to Enzo Lefay.
Alderete's gone up.
And now Ballard, closed down by Gray, gets it to Hertrauder, back to Ballard. Ballard behind him is Xhaka. Xhaka to Hertrauder again. They're moving it around a bit quicker now. Hertrauder back to Xhaka. Xhaka down on his sweat past Diarra and goes behind for a goal kick again.
Not been there, we've not been at the races.
87th minute. Grant Ward's going to come on now for Port Vale. He's coming on for Ben Way.
Number 19, Ben Way.
Scorer of what could be a very momentous goal, Ben Way. Of course, great story for the newspapers. The Newcastle United fan who scores what at the moment looks like it could well be the winner against Sunderland. On comes Grant Ward, the 31-year-old former Tottenham, Ipswich and Blackpool midfielder, signed on a short-term contract in February till the end of the season to help Port Vale avoid relegation. And we're in the 88th minute. Ojo tries to get the ball forward. Xhaka heads it back onto halfway. Diarra has made a run forwards, and so is Mienda. The ball from Hertrauder, though, is going to be cleared. It's hanging in the air, the clearance. Out. No, hasn't quite, has gone out. Hertrauder with the throw into Lefay. 88th minute, Port Vale leading 1-0. Here's Xhaka, just inside the Port Vale half, on the right of the centre circle, looking for Angulo. Takes it on his chest. Gabriel closes him down. Behind him's O'Nien. O'Nien onto Angulo again, trying to turn it up into the penalty area. A chase for Lefay, but Walters has got in front of him. The ball goes behind for a goal kick. Enzo Lefay places the ball on the corner of the 6-yard box. And Joe Gaucher with another goal kick for Port Vale. Port Vale minutes away from a place in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. 89th minute. Gauci with the kick. Drives this up over the halfway line. O'Nien knocks it on to Angulo, heads it back to Lefay, plays it back to Alderete inside his own half. Short pass on to Lefay. Lefay walters in front of him, plays it across to Xhaka. Xhaka now into the centre circle. Xhaka rolls it to Diarra. Diarra looks to play it to Hertrauder down the right of the penalty area. Blue shirts trying to get in the box. It comes back to Xhaka, curls one in towards the far post, just over. Another goal kick to Port Vale.
Be interesting to see how much time he's going to put on.
Well, there's a couple of minutes at least for the stoppage when the keeper went down earlier in the half. Substitutions as well. You've got to be at least a minimum of 4, you'd have thought. Jordan Gabriel awarded man of the match. From a Port Vale perspective, you can't really hand it to anybody in a blue shirt, can you? Port Vale lead 1-0. We're in the last minute of the 90. The ball floats up onto the head of Andre Gray, comes back onto the halfway line. Angulo trying to get it through to Mayenda, laying it off straight to Campbell.
He's got to do better.
Who's happy to drive it into the stand. 5 seconds of the 90 left. How much will be added on? Port Vale leading 1-0. It's back with Elborg. 6 minutes of added time. So we're into those 6 minutes. Alderete bringing this forwards into the Port Vale half.
Get in the box.
Angulo wide on the left-hand side. Angulo in front of Gabriel, trying to get round it. He can't, and he fouls.
You've got to
Gabriel.
get it in the box.
It's a free kick to Port Vale. 30 seconds into the minimum 6 minutes.
It's a waste of time having Ballard and Alderete up top if you're not going to put the ball in.
Gabriel cramped, stretches his legs. Joe Gauci goes across to take the free kick for Port Vale. There's a cup upset of some magnitude on the cards here now as we play added time at the end of the game, and Port Vale, bottom of League One, leads Sunderland 1-0. The ball bounces through. Andre Gray trying to nod it down. There's appeals for a free kick, which they win for handball.
Absolutely silly.
Port Vale free kick. 92nd minute. George Hall will take the free kick. Port Vale keep 4 players back on halfway. Mayenda's the only one up for Sunderland. And the League One team on the cusp of creating a bit more FA Cup history here. Gabriel takes it into the corner. Alderete's trying to get the ball off him. So's Lefay. The ball does come out, and there's a long hard look from Anthony Taylor as there's a free kick there. Nothing given at the moment, and it's fallen for Gray, and his shot just past the foot of the post. He could have wrapped it up then, Andre Gray, but the ball across the face of Elborg and behind. Elborg takes a quick goal kick. 2 minutes of the minimum 6 played. O'Nien bringing the ball out for Sunderland. Long ball, hoofed upfield, looking for Ballard, gets his head on it, and got on it from Connor Hall. Headed back by Lefay, in the air from Ojo, down from Isidore. Ballard trying to get it through to Hertrauder in the penalty area. He goes down, but there's no foul. Comes out to Lefay. He shoots well over.
That just sums up Sunderland's afternoon, that shot.
Another goal kick. In the 93rd minute, Port Vale lead 1-0. Jordan Gabriel has cramp. He's walking it off. He's only got minutes to see out for the League One team.
Tell you what, we haven't been good enough. It's as simple as that.
No. So Gauci with the goal kick again. 93 minutes play, 3 minutes minimum left. George Hall heads it over Xhaka. Xhaka plays it back to Elborg. Nearly closed down by George Hall. Plays it out to O'Nien. Back to Elborg. Drives this up to the halfway line. pushing the back of Ballard, but it falls to Angulo. Angulo on the left-hand side, wide to Alderete. McGlaw with him, trying to get past the big centre-half. Alderete stabs it back inside. Runs back onto it to Lefay. Lefay trying to keep hold of possession but loses out. Ojo on the possible break for George Hall. Gets in front of Diarra. Diarra gets in front of him. Into the corner of the penalty area. They both go down. The ball rolls behind for a goal kick to Sunderland. 94 minutes has been played. Port Vale 1, Sunderland 0. There are 2 minutes minimum left. The ball with Xhaka to O'Nien. O'Nien drives this up now towards Ballard. Headed down into the penalty area. Campbell will get the ball here for Port Vale and dig it out. Back up to the halfway line. Brought down by Diarra. Won back by Andre Gray. Into the middle here to Walters. Walters trying to get past Lefay. Pushes the ball on wide here. A chase on the far side. But Grant Ward will be beaten to it. And the ball put out for a throw to Port Vale on the far side. Sunderland back having to defend. Everybody bar Alderete inside the Sunderland half, and he's on the halfway line. Bar, of course, the Port Vale goalkeeper. McGlaw comes forwards to take the throw for Port Vale. 95 minutes has been played. There's a minimum of a minute left, and Port Vale lead 1-0. The throw down into the corner, and the ball goes out for a goal kick. And this is a last opportunity for Sunderland to get the ball upfield and try and save this FA Cup tie. It's taken short to Xhaka, out to Lefay. Lefay back to O'Nien. O'Nien now drives the ball upfield. Ballard makes a run. Ballard heads it back down, but straight to Ojo. And he tries to get back on the end of it, Ballard. It comes back to Xhaka. Xhaka down the right here now to Diarra. Diarra needs to put a good ball in, but it's straight to Walters. Walters plays it to Ojo. Hooks it over his head and out for a throw to Sunderland. 15 seconds of the minimum 6 minutes left. O'Nien's going to take a long throw. There are seconds left of the minimum 6 minutes. 53, 54, 55, 56. The throw into the penalty area. Headed out by Campbell. It will go. No, the full-time whistle's blown. Port Vale have made history. They reached the quarter-finals for the first time since 1954. They've knocked out Premier League Sunderland. Ben Waine, Newcastle United fan, has scored the only goal of the game. His header in the 28th minute, and Sunderland are out of the FA Cup.
Yeah, and you've got to say that they fully deserved it as well. You've got to say Sunderland on this afternoon's performance have been poor. From the kick-off right till the end. We just weren't good enough. As simple as that.
Port Vale, once they got their noses in front in the first half, they showed the right attitude, made the effort, had something to defend. Sunderland, well, you can't say they didn't play a strong team. That's a team that could have played in the Premier League, and it's been beaten by the team for a foot of League One, 8 points adrift. It tells its own story.
It tells its own story, but again, what it also tells you is the attitude of the players as well. They've got to look at themselves and ask the questions why. Why did this happen this afternoon? As simple as that.
Well, we've seen earlier in the tournament how teams like Macclesfield, those teams that everybody writes off, you cannot take them for granted. All credit to Port Vale this afternoon. They, you have to argue, have been the better team. They could have scored a second. George Hall on that break when Elbaugh brought him down. Andre Gray, that opportunity. And I look back and I don't think
Well,
Joe Gauchi's really had a save to make this afternoon.
You look at the full game, Nick, over the 90 minutes, and you just mentioned now on 2 or 3 occasions Port Vale could have increased their lead, and then you look at the other end and you're thinking from Sunderland, you're scratching your head and thinking, what clear-cut chance did we have? Yes, Mayenda header, which weren't powerful enough. There's another one what come back off the post,
which was offside.
But besides that, we wasn't a threat, were we? It's all right keeping the ball and being nice and playing at your own tempo, but we didn't really put a finger on Port Vale.
Sunderland couldn't match Port Vale's desire, couldn't match their appetite. They showed very, very little quality in the game, Sunderland. I think the one moment I look back at and think that was quality was when Talby played that dummy and crossed. But apart from that, you can say that Port Vale dragged Sunderland down to League One level.
Well,
that's not being disrespectful.
No.
What they did was showed that if you've got heart, if you've got desire, and you've got the will to win, and again, I don't think it was dragging them down. I think what Port Vale shown was that they had the desire. They had the right attitude for the game. They was up for it, where Sunderland wasn't. And, we keep going on about the pitch. And sometimes that gets into the players' minds. They've come out there and they looked at the pitch and straight away they're thinking, whoa, what's this? At times, we were too sloppy with our passing. Our defending was poor. Well, there'll be a lot of introspection, no doubt, after that result, because this is a result that really, on paper, should never have been.
Look,
football is football.
It questions the players, doesn't it? And what I mean by that is all of a sudden they forget where they're coming from. Maybe a season, 2 seasons ago, you would have handled playing out here. You would have got the results. The players would have got you the result. Have we all of a sudden fallen into, everything's got to be nice, everything's got to be quality, and that's from the stadiums that you go to, the pitch what you play on, the players who you're playing against. You know what I mean? You've got to show them respect, and I don't think that we respected them enough today.
And nobody can blame the pitch.
No.
So
Jonathan Pearce crying.
Well, I think he has just witnessed history. I mean, there's no question we have all just witnessed another chapter in FA Cup history, and it's not great for Sunderland. It's not going to look good in the history books that Sunderland were knocked out, fielding a strong team. Sunderland from the Premier League, knocked out by a team 8 points adrift to safety in League One.
I think basically, Nick, they wanted it more than us, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's what it is. They wanted it more than us.
And I think you've got to hand it to John Brady, the Port Vale manager as well. The team he selected, he threw in players like Ojo, experience in the middle. He put Dejon Brown up front, who hasn't played since February the 10th. He made the right decisions, the right players, the right team.
But if you're not going to compete, Nick, you're not going to win games. As simple as that. And I don't think we competed enough today.
Well, it's a good afternoon for the FA Cup. It's a good afternoon for Port Vale. I'm afraid it's a very bad afternoon for Sunderland. This is not a chapter they were looking to write this season. The opportunity was there for Sunderland to have a very good FA Cup run this season.
The thing is,
all come apart. Yeah. It's all fallen apart here at Vale Park.
We're talking about commitment, and then you look at the supporters. You've got 3.5, nearly 4,000 Sunderland supporters. They've been committed, because it weren't until late that we found out that we're playing Port Vale. They were being committed from this morning, coming here expecting to